are going to be creating these fun little garden gnomes, and you see they have a little spike on the bottom to plant them inside of a flower pot. And these are so much fun to do. They're very quick to make. I have a little trick to show you on how you can make these very uniform, very quick, and very fun. They're very versatile. You see different colors, different decorations. You can add a little bit of marini to give it a little bit of a pop. I mean, I chose to do them a little more whimsical. You could choose to make your gnomes with just, instead of doing this swervy little hat, you could just make a triangle hat. And instead of going with a rounded body, you could just make a triangle for a body. But I created templates to do this, so all my gnomes were done using that template, and I'll show you how. So let's get started. To make this project, I started out by sketching out a gnome on my computer, and to see how I wanted it all to come together. And then what I did was that I isolated the parts of the gnome that needed to be cut. So I don't have the feet over here, but the feet and the nose are going to be done using fused dots. So those ones don't need a template to be cut. You just cut little rectangles. But the hat, the mustache, the beard, and the body have more of a distinct shape. So I isolated those, and then I took them to my Cricut machine, and using my Cricut, I had it cut the shapes onto these sticker sheets. And with the sticker sheets, I could cut multiples, and then they stay on the sheet, and I could just keep the sheet. With this sticker sheet, it just makes it so much easier. I just peel off the sticker, and then I'll place it on my piece of glass, and then I'll cut around it. And so I know where to cut, and then I'll be able to keep the sticker on the piece of glass and take it to the grinder, and I'll still have my pattern, my shape as a guide when I'm grinding. And this way the shape comes out as close as possible to my original design. I saw a lot of stained glass artists use this trick on TikTok. I saw them sketch out their drawings on sticker sheets and then transfer those over to their glass. I didn't necessarily see them doing it on a Cricut, but I thought since I'm doing multiples, it would just make it easier for me to run it through the Cricut. Now, you're more than welcome to just trace them if you like, but this is just a way that I thought was easier to do, to get my pieces all nice and uniform, so I have like a matching set of gnomes. And you saw in the introduction, I made them in 6 different colors, so it's very versatile. You can do whatever you want with these. Now I use the sticker as a guideline to cut my lines, and I try to cut as close as possible to the edge of the sticker. Now I just have a bit of grinding to do to clean up the lines, and they'll match up perfectly with my sticker. And then a beard. And a mustache. for the spike that's going to go into the ground, I decided to make these blunt-ended triangles that are 1¼ inches wide, 3 inches tall, and then the point is actually blunt and it's 1/4 inch wide. So I'm just going to hand cut these. For the nose and the feet, I wanted little ovals, and I wanted them to be quite bulbous so they would stand out a little more. And in order to do little ovals, what I did is I cut some rectangles. So these are 3/4 inch by 1/2 inch, and I'll be taking 2 rectangles. I'll stack them and put them on my kiln shelf, and I'll full fuse them. And because they're already 6 inches, 6 inches, and because they're already 6 millimeters thick, what this will do is it will just really round off the corners and keep it in a kind of a oval shape and not a full circle. Because if you take a 3 millimeter piece that's more of a square and you put it on the shelf, it'll make a perfect little circle. So I really want these to round off but still be elongated. For the nose, I did 1/2 inch by just over 1/2 inch, so it's still a rectangle. So I'll need 4 pieces, so 2 pairs for the feet and 2 pieces for the nose. And this piece of glass is pink, and it's a striker, I believe. I bought this in a pack of glass, and it wasn't marked as to what it is, so hopefully it comes out a nice pink color. So I'm just gonna wash off all my pieces, put them on my kiln shelf, and just full fuse them. So you could choose to do some designs on your hat if you'd like. So I did dots on this one. I used my white glass line paint with a fine tip, or you could do whatever you want. I might do some lines on this one. You see we have a few globs here and there. Once the glass line dries, you can take an X-Acto knife and scrape off the excess. With this one, I'm making little sunbursts, so I just make a dot. Then using something sharp like this, or even a toothpick, I just take the glass line and I spread it out. So now we're going to assemble our gnomes. So here's a body and a hat as the base, along with one of those spikes that we cut. Okay. Then we're going to add a mustache, and we're going to make the mustache go over the hat as well as the body, and try to make it so that it doesn't overlap too much on the edges, because with the tack it will tend to try to melt down. So try to keep it as much as possible on both. And then a beard. And see, the beard goes over the spike, and this just increases our areas where the glass touch each other to make sure that they will all stick together and not separate. And another thing that's going to help with that is adding the feet. So these came out perfectly, exactly like I wanted, little ovals that are kind of bulbous. So we'll put one here. So again, we're trying to make it stick to the body and the spike. So we're increasing the contact area, basically. Another foot. And finally, the nose. And so the color came out perfectly. The size came out, the shape came out perfectly as well. And this is going to come towards the bottom of that curve in the mustache and cover the beard. What I'd like to also add to these is maybe some little floral details. So I have these Vitrograph stringers. They're really, really thin, and they're these nice curved shapes. And we can add some colorful marini flowers. I have a lot of choices of flowers to use. These ones are from Tabitha's Glass Emporium, and I have others that are from Wilderness Glass, and I'm going to link to both those shops in my description box. And so we could just add some flowers. And of course, when I'm assembling this, because I'm just showing you here how it is, but I'll be reassembling them on my kiln shelf, and I'll be using, of course, my trusty gel so that the flowers don't move around and the nose and everything stays in place. And then I'll show you what all my gnomes look like. Very happy I was able to fit all 6 of my gnomes on my kiln shelf, and so this is a 13-inch kiln shelf. And what I made sure that none of them touch each other. They're a little close, but since it's a tack fuse, there's no really a chance of them like spreading and touching each other. I did make sure that there's as much contact area between the pieces that just touch each other, and so they have something that touches them on top as well, to make sure that the pieces stick very well. And under the feet, I added some fiber paper. This is 1/8 of an inch thick fiber paper, and I put it under the feet because there's a gap underneath, and I don't want them to slump down during the firing. So that's it. I'm going to take them to a tack fuse. And the anneal time on this after the tack fuse is going to be pretty long because we have a lot of different thicknesses in our pieces. And so all these thicknesses will be cooling down at different rates. So we want to give it a long anneal time to make sure that our pieces don't crack later on. So I hope you enjoyed making these gnomes with me. I thought it was a very fun project. If you did enjoy it, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. As always, I'd love to see your work if you use any of my projects. Either tag me on Instagram or just send me an email. All my information is in the description box below, and I'll leave you with a few pictures. See you next time.